Okay, our original series episode for today is the Mark of Gideon. We'll talk about that after this. Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd, and in the Mark of Gideon, we have a couple of interesting things that go on. Now, you know the episode. It's the one where they have this overpopulated planet that Kirk is beamed down to in order to get involved with the head magistrate's daughter or some such like that, and there has to be a kissing scene and all of that. Fine. The more interesting thing is that a couple of things that we learn about Spock and a little more limited involvement from McCoy than we usually have, but a little more insight into Scotty. Now, first of all, let's talk about this being a bottle show. They built one set for the council chamber on Gideon. Everything else happened with the existing Enterprise sets. And while that saved a lot of money, they obviously didn't spend a whole lot on writing it either. I find that it tells kind of a clunky story of overpopulation. If we are too busy trying to cure all our diseases, we're going to overpopulate ourselves to death. And this was a concern during the 60s when we did have population growth. We were in the midst of the baby boom at that time, and so there was a popular book at the time was called The Population Explosion. So we thought that was going to be a big thing. Now, in our current day, we know that birth rate in the U.S. is going down. The birth rate in China is going down. And it's not... We don't have the same problems now that we did then. So taken under that look, it really was talking about something that concerned people. So we'll give them credit for that at least. But the idea that they were fooled for as long as they were was kind of a disappointment to me. As soon as they gave different coordinates, apparently Spock knew but didn't share with anybody, and nobody else noticed either. Not Uhura, not Scotty, not... anybody else, stretching credibility a little bit, although most of the viewers probably didn't notice a difference in the coordinates either. That's the only time that I know of that they actually gave number coordinates for anywhere that they went in the original series, and I don't know that they ever did that much in the Next Generation as it comes out. There is an interesting quote from Spock: "Diplomats and bureaucrats have different methods and still have the same results." He was saying that in a disdainful manner, in that he was not making any headway getting the Federation or Starfleet to allow them to beam down and look for the captain. He eventually just disobeys orders. Now, he also lies. They've said during the original series, they've said it in The Next Generation, they said it in Voyager, that Vulcans don't lie. And it's always the case that pretty much only Vulcans say it. I think McCoy said at one point that Vulcans couldn't lie. But the fact of the matter is they lie all the time, and Spock really did this time. We see Scotty very upset that the magistrate would say something was wrong with his transporter, and he... is sent off the bridge by Spock, and the magistrate says, "I didn't quite hear that." And Spock said, "Oh, he said that he's fixed the transporter now and it'll work just fine." And that was a lie. So however Spock would rationalize it later if they had to, that was definitely a misdirection, a omission, a lie. Otherwise, it's another one of these dead-end plots where, is Kirk going to get off? Sure he is. Is Kirk going to spend the rest of his life with the girl that he falls in love with? No. Is anything going to change that's going to affect next week's show? Of course not. And so it's sloppy writing on this. A few things could have made this more interesting. Instead of saying, "Oh, you're going to be caught here forever," they would say, "We've got what we want out of you. We're sending you back to your ship." And then they could talk about the moral implications of what they were doing, which they scratched the surface of here, but not really. And so I think that that was a missed opportunity here, where they could have told a story about overpopulation. They could have told a story about controversies with birth control, but they really didn't want to go there, and perhaps could not go there in 60s era television. But they, from this point of view, it's a story they could have told and decided to make it another the captain is captured, is he ever going to get away kind of thing, and you already knew the answer to that question before you knew the answer to anything else. So give this a gentleman's C, and we move on to the next episode next week. Of course, we have another Babylon 5 coming up on Friday, and then back on Tuesday, a new DS9 and a new Trek on Wednesday. So I hope you will be with us during that time. In the meantime, please put your comments below, and if you're not subscribed, subscribe, please. And then, of course, if you would click a like, that would be a very nice thing for you to do. So we would hope that you would do that. So thank you very much for joining us. Until next time, don't go far.